to win a national championship. The Auburn Tigers have faced a couple of those teams already. The test will be, have they learned from those games? Can they match and equal Arizona on the glass? I think that's the #1 stat you have to look for in the game.
Arizona wins the opening tip. Jaden Bradley, one of the best senior guards in the Big 12 and possibly in all of college basketball. The second leading scorer for Arizona this year. 14 points per game, and he was much better than that in the wins over the ranked teams. Here's Koa Peat, the outstanding freshman, just pulling his way down the baseline and gets the tip in for the game's first points.
He has been so impressive right from the start of this season with the 30-point game he had against Florida. He works so well and reads the defense and creates the angle to score with his back to the basket.
Almost an entirely new starting five for Auburn based on their Final Four team from a year ago. Tahad Pettiford is back, but he came off the bench primarily last year. A missed three on the other end by Burries. Bodies hit the floor, and Pettiford up the floor for the Tigers. Here's Hall from deep. Offensive rebound. Murphy can't get the layup to go. Second try, though, is good.
Good job by the Mississippi State transfer, working underneath, being active, and understanding where that miss was going off the hands of Keyshawn Hall.
Here's the starting five for Arizona. A traveling violation on Krivas, who's much improved this year, but turned it over on that possession.
I think one of the other keys, too, you think about Auburn's last time out against NC State. They had 20 turnovers in that game. That number's high. The one that alarmed me most was the 14 steals that they allowed NC State to have. Those are live ball turnovers where you allow your opponent to get out and run. They can ill afford to do that in this environment.
Empty possession for Auburn. Here's Bradley. Great screen set by Peat and allowed Bradley to drive the lane and get the layup. In talking with Tommy Lloyd, the Arizona head coach, we asked him, what's the thing you like most about Koa Peat? He said he makes winning plays. He's a winning player. 4 state championships, and that screen he set right there for the ball handler was terrific. A great example of that. As Overton gets the basket on the other end for Auburn.
He's been red hot as of late for Auburn, averaging over 20 points per game over the last 2.
Inside, Krivas.
If this is your first time seeing Arizona, what you've seen early in this game is what they want to do. All 3 baskets have come in the paint. They're traditional with their high-low entry passes. They don't rely on the 3-point shot, which is abnormal for most teams in college basketball today.
Elijah Freeman pull-up jumper off target, and Krivas snatches the rebound. Bradley, Peat underneath for the slam.
Eight points, all of them in the paint.
Here's Hall on the low block. Goes up and can't get it to fall. Krivas another rebound. Bradley splits the defenders. Attacks the rim. Can't get it to fall. Quick outlet to Pettiford in the open court. He'll take it all the way. Wow, Pettiford lost his footing because of the hard slam.
How about that in transition? Tahad Pettiford has had his struggles. He has not shot the ball nearly as well as he did a season ago. Coach Stephen Pearl said he likes the quality of shot that he's getting, but sometimes you got to ignite yourself. Out in transition, the elevation and the finish. Big-time athlete.
Could have gone to the NBA, tested the waters this offseason, decided to come back. And he's averaging 14 points per game, about 20 points per game on the road. Peat putting it on the floor, spinning. In and out on the shot.
Really good job defensive rebounding right now for the Tigers early in this game.
The highest ranked non-conference win for Auburn in its history was against a number 3 team. That was North Carolina in the NCAA tournament. So this would be their highest ever ranked road win if they can get it. They're down 2, 4 minutes gone by. Arizona possession. Bradley driving to the corner. And Karchenkov finds Krivas, who scores, plus a foul.
Throw line. He has not gotten there so far today, but averaging 9 free throw attempts per contest. That's 6th most in the country so far this season per game.
Made a total of 65 free throws, which is good for 2nd in the country. Krivas shooting a free throw after the foul on Murphy. Offensive rebound to Waka, who's come off the bench this season. And another foul on Auburn.
And that's what he does. How nice is it for Tommy Lloyd to go to the bench and bring off a guy that started a year ago and is averaging 10 rebounds per contest. Very few teams have a guy that can come off the bench and grab you 10 boards every single night.
Foul was on Jovic. It's not just a different role for Waka. Del Orso, who was a starter last year, he's come off the bench this year. He's put on some weight, 20 pounds of muscle. He's an excellent three-point shooter, good passer underneath to Krivas.
I think he stepped out of bounds.
So another turnover by Krivas, his 2nd. Year 1 for Stephen Pearl's done an outstanding job early on, replacing his father Bruce. Resurrected this program, 2 Final Fours. 11 years for Bruce before stepping away this offseason. Three-pointer from the corner is good. Keyshawn Hall.
The three-point shot can be an equalizer in this game. We've seen every single point up into that basket had come in the paint for both teams.
Hall shooting well from the field and the three-point line, not just the free throw line. Plus he gets a steal here. Hall right now is closing in on 50, 50, 90. 50% from the floor, 50 from 3 and 90 at the line. He's got the last 5, and Auburn has a 1-point lead.
He can score in a hurry.
Waka trying to get position on Hall. Swing to Bradley. 5 minutes gone by here in the opening half in Tucson. Krivas spinning against the defender, misses the jump hook. Jovic with the rebound. Here is Pettiford. That slam dunk in transition seemed to settle Auburn down a bit. First time this team or anybody on this coaching staff has played here in Tucson. Jovic fouled by Krivas. That's his first and the first on Arizona.
When we talked about the art of drawing a foul, he can do a lot of other things really well over the course of the game. He loves to drive in transitions, got great control over his body, and a good find in transition where he sprints to the corner and has that free, clean look. He played in this building before. He talked to his teammates about playing here. It was a season ago. You and I actually were on the call. He had 22 points on this floor. Now, he told his guys, hey, this is as good as an environment as you're going to find in college basketball this year.
Led the Big 12 in scoring, trying to lead the SEC in scoring this year. He's currently number 2 in the conference. Jovic missed the first free throw. They changed the foul to Karchenkov of Arizona. Substitutions for the Wildcats. Dwayne Aristode, another talented freshman, checking in for Arizona. 1 out of 2 for Jovic.
Second one was a lot better than the first one.
Auburn still tenacious on defense.
And we got 3 seconds in the key against Waka. You see a little bit of that lineup. You mentioned Del Orso and Waka coming off the bench, but then you can take Krivas and put him to the bench, and you can bring Peat back in. And so you have different lineups that Tommy Lloyd can work with, and you don't lose any physicality or rebounding within those lineups. And I think that's what makes this team so dangerous this year for Arizona. They've always had the ability to score in the paint. They've always had the ability to score in transition since Tommy Lloyd has arrived. But this team is stronger and much more physical, in particular at the defensive end of the floor, than they have been in recent years.
Well, last year they started slowly. They were 4-5 at one point, actually about this time of the year. Ended up winning 24 games as Pettiford drills a 3, and it's a 5-point Auburn lead. Arizona made it to the Sweet 16 last year, but the expectations skyrocketed with the additions they made in the offseason, and off to a great start at 7-0, but trailing by 2 after the three-pointer from Bradley with 13.5 to go in the first.
This is a really high-level game right now with good movement, spacing on both teams offensively. Todd Pettiford almost lost that one.
Here's Overton, who had a career-high 29 points against NC State on Wednesday, with 6 of 9 from 3. They double him at midcourt. The shot clock down to 3, and Del Arso finally gets the steal. And the slam.
He runs, you see frustration happen at times. Most teams experience it. And after the dunk, what I want you to watch is the communication between Keyshawn Hall and Todd Pettiford, and then Stephen Pearl coming out and saying, hey, guys, we got to stay together, get on the same page. And this carried all the way into the timeout. And I will tell you right now, I've been really impressed with Stephen Pearl in the early stages of his coaching career. Moving over one seat, the guys in the studio will tell you, it's a lot harder than you think. You become the CEO of $1 million running organization. And oh, by the way, your name is the same as your father's, who took them on a legendary run and to multiple Final Fours, and they've had won more SEC games since 2017. How he's handled himself and the maturity that he's shown early in his career, and how his team has fought back from adversity in multiple games, I think shows you a lot about his connectivity with this group.
Inside a walk-up. It's a 7-0 Arizona run right now. If the Wildcats win, they'll likely be the #1 team in the nation. Purdue was throttled today against Iowa State. Another turnover. Del Arso up the floor. Missed the layup. Knocked out of bounds. Auburn ball.
They've got to handle the blitzing action, and Tommy Lloyd talked about changing up coverages, trying to turn up the heat a little bit, and showing that more grit at the defensive end of the floor. Since Del Arso has been out there, they've pressured it now multiple times, and Todd Pettiford is dribbling around the midcourt line. You've got to be aggressive and get downhill, on-ball screen in a better area. Instead, you get an offensive foul. Things are unraveling right now for Auburn a little bit. They need to regain their composure.
Foul on Sebastian Williams-Adams, his first and the third team foul. Back to your point on Stephen Pearl. We talked to a couple players today and asked to compare him to his dad, which obviously Stephen's probably gotten every game, those questions, and so have the players. But the thing that they said that really stood out was, like his dad, he gets us. The difference is Stephen's a recent player. He played 15 years ago at Tennessee for his dad. Has another basket for Arizona. 3 by Aristode, and it's a 10-0 Wildcat run.
When you score in the paint, it starts to shrink the defense, right? And every opponent says, hey, pack the paint against Arizona. They've shot a pretty good percentage from 3. It hasn't been something they've relied on, but the ball movement of getting the ball in the paint and then kicking out has left open wide open shots.
Corner 3 for Hall, not even close. The defensive intensity is really picked up here for Arizona. Another foul on Williams-Adams, his second.
A 10-0 run over the last 2 minutes. You drive the paint, you force the defense to help. Recent treatments at the City of Hope. She rang the bell. She's done with her chemo. Now she's set, and her focus is on surgery that's going to take place on January 2nd. Risha, you're in my prayers. You are an epitome of what a warrior is, and it shows the wins that we're having in the fight against cancer, too.
Well, it's great news and shows once again the importance of cancer research and how many people are impacted by it. Waka inside, gets the basket. 12 straight points for Arizona after they trailed by 5 about 3 minutes ago.
The key for Auburn in this moment is so many opponents have come in this building and they have experienced this. This run that just seemingly keeps going, the energy of the crowd. You've just got to stay true to who you are and execute. Don't get sped up or feel like you've got to get it all back in one possession.
Shot clock inside of 10. Pull up by Pettiford. Burries with the block. Wow, that was a late whistle, but Tony Padilla said it indeed was a foul on Burries. That is his first. Second on Arizona, and Pettiford will be at the line.
Todd Pettiford, excellent job getting to that free throw line area.
It's a foul.
It's a good call. can he get himself in the rhythm at the free throw line?
Auburn 2 of 3 so far at the line. Arizona just 0 for 1. Pettiford coming off a game where he just had 1 field goal. They didn't need his offense against NC State, but
he was an elite shot blocker in the game. Right. He had 4.
They needed his defense, and they got it. They're in the midway point here in the first half. Arizona leading by 5. Murphy did a good job to break up that high-low pass by Peat, but a foul underneath is called on Jovic, and that is his second 15 foul on Auburn. Now Tommy Lloyd in year 5. Could this be the year that the Wildcats get back to the Final Four? It's been 25 seasons. They last played in a Final Four. They certainly have the talent as Del Orso cans the mid-range shot.
Then they have the depth. I mean, it's the top flight talent, right? We saw Koa Peat and how well he's performed. Jaden Bradley, the size, but it's the guys off the bench that just add another dimension to this team.
Del Orso coming over the top, gets called for the foul. His first, third on U of A. Arizona was picked 4th in the Big 12 preseason. Just 1 first-place vote. But for the second straight week, they are number 2 in the country, and with a win, all but certain to go to number 1 for the first time since December of 2023. Jovic underneath. Murphy catches, turns, and lays it home.
Good poise and patience. The look to Freeman on the weak side drew Del Orso away from the paint and freed up Murphy underneath.
Zoned by Auburn. Del Orso can shoot it. That one off the mark, though. Peat battling for the rebound. Pettiford's got it. Already has 1 throwdown, and in transition gets the layup this time, and Auburn on a run is pulled within 3.
If you're shoulder to shoulder with Tahad Pettiford and he gets the ball, you're getting beat in that foot race. Not many players in the country can compete with him end to end.
Murray's 3 not there. Good hustle by Aristode, but he tucks it last. Auburn ball.
Transition buckets, scoring out in front of Arizona's defense, going to be very key for Auburn, and an excellent job of just dropping the throttle and hitting that other gear, and Tahad Pettiford scoring out in transition. They did, after that run, that 12-0 run, Auburn is doing a better job of starting to settle down and playing with composure. When they brought the on-ball screen and they're blitzing, they're creating options to play out of it now instead of being on an island like they were for 2 or 3 possessions in a row.
Also done a good job on the glass. Right now the rebounding is even, 10 apiece. 3-pointer from the wing is way off the mark from Freeman. And a foul called on the defensive rebound on Arizona as Jovic hits the deck. Peat picks up his first, 4th team foul on Arizona. Tomorrow, 1 Eastern, ESPN2, the annual border showdown, Missouri and Kansas. The Jayhawks currently number 21. That at 5 Eastern on ESPN. Number 16, North Carolina hosts Georgetown.
And talking about Kansas, Darren Peterson missed the last 7 games. The report is that he's expected to be able to go tomorrow for the Jayhawks. And they can use him. I mean, they've been off to a great start. Flory Badunga has been outstanding, but you're talking about a special talent in the freshman class with Darren Peterson averaging 22 points and 7 rebounds per game.
Potential number 1 pick in the draft. Owaka takes a seat. Krivas back on the floor. Inside 9 minutes to play in the first half. Arizona by 3. Pettiford off the screen. The 3-pointer is off target. Out of bounds to Arizona. Arizona is 2 of 5 from 3. Auburn is 2 for 6. Kevin Overton checking in for Auburn. They need his offense. He is yet to get untracked in this game, though, coming off that 29-point effort on Wednesday.
Part of it's been the length of Arizona's defense and the ability to stay attached to shooters on the outside. Overton does a great job of hunting for the 3-point shot. They just haven't had any space yet.
Oh, nice move in the lane that time. Ivan Karchenkov, freshman from Munich, Germany.
Had a great first game against Florida with the double-double. Has been a little bit inconsistent at times as far as scoring production goes, but has been huge in his impact at the defensive end of the floor.
In general, these freshmen have been terrific for Arizona. An older group of freshmen. You got a couple of them that are 20 years old. They come from winning programs. They force a traveling violation there. So Arizona.
He just understands how to play the game of basketball. He can overpower you on the block. He reads the floor and sees the play ahead, screens and shields. He's an excellent passer in the high-low situation, and he's explosive around the rim. He impacts the game at every level. 2 of 5 shooting, a couple of rebounds, 3 assists, 4 points already. His name, by the way, means strong warrior. That's talked about almost every game. So if you've watched a lot of Arizona games, you will know that. But if you haven't, his name means strong warrior, and he plays like one night in and night out.
Well, if you watch a lot of Arizona games, you'll be tired of this note as well. He's the youngest of 7 children. All have Division I scholarships, including his older brother, Andres, as the three-pointer goes for Karchenkov. Andres Peat, currently a Pittsburgh Steeler, but longtime New Orleans Saint offensive lineman. And the father, Todd Peat, former NFL offensive lineman in the 90s.
Excellent job on that, by the way.
And a steal. Taken away by Karchenkov. Tried to get it to Bradley, and it was stolen away by Magwood. Magwood drives all the way. Krivas altered the shot. Out of bounds to Arizona.
When you have good ball movement, look at the defense. The miscommunications right now for Auburn. They're so concerned with the paint that they're over-helping on the rim run, and that is creating an opportunity for shooters to be on the outside, have their feet set, their hands ready, and just let it fly.
And Karchenkov's only a 29% three-point shooter, but they feel he's much better than that, just has not been able to get unlocked. But maybe that will do it. The hit on the last possession. Murray's trying to go into the paint with the strong move. He just overpowered the defender that time, knocked Murphy to the ground.
This freshman class, they don't fear the moment. They embrace it.
There is a different level of physicality, not just on defense, but on offense with this Arizona team compared to previous years. Out of bounds, last touch by Arizona, but a 10-point lead right now for the Wildcats. They're on a 7-0 run. They've held Auburn without a point for almost 3.5 minutes now.
Last drive at this end of the floor for Auburn, you saw Krivas come over and alter the shot and force an air ball layup. A lot of times you just look at numbers of block shots, but when you have the length that Arizona has, a lot of your attempts go wide, including that pass. You defend the out of bounds really well with big hands, having your center on the ball. An errant pass becomes an empty possession.
7 turnovers now and just 8 field goals. The #1 ranking in the country's on the line. Arizona will be #1 after Purdue got blown out if the Wildcats can knock off #20 Auburn, which is trying for its highest ranked non-conference win ever.
Talk, even in the zone, you've got to be able to have awareness and communicate. They've lost Bradley on the backside.
Largest lead of the game for Arizona. It's now 12 with 5.5 to go in the first half.
They're losing guys in this zone.
Pettiford step back 3, short. Karchenkov gets it out quickly to Burries. And Bradley lost the handle.
The difference in the degree of difficulty of the shot attempts is very clear to see if you're watching this game. You know, Arizona's executing, getting clean looks, whether it's the jump shots, whether it's the high-low entry passes, powering through to the block. At the other end of the floor, you're seeing contested NBA threes or air balls coming from the outside right now.
No easy looks for Auburn in this first half against Arizona's defense. All on the drive. Again, a high degree of difficulty on that leaner. Ends up back in the hands of Murphy on the pinball. Murphy may have traveled. Pettiford Driving, attacking, wild shot. Another empty possession.
And that's going to be a foul on Keyshawn Hall. Off ball pushing Peat. Underneath the basket in transition. Frustration starting to boil over a little bit right now for Auburn, and they need to get back on the same page.
His first 6th team foul. Now Peat plays so under control for a freshman. He's never in a hurry.
The game is played at his pace. He dictates when and how and where he's going to get to and how he's going to execute. His spatial awareness is elite.
He's got 6 points, 4 assists so far in the game. All on the drive, another off-balance attempt. When's the last time they were able to get off a good shot? They give up a layup in transition from Burries. The Arizona runs you fear as a road team coming to McHale. The lead is up to 16. It's a 13-0 run.
Peat so excellent at feeling the defense, getting Coach, they very rarely get popped in that kind of fashion. I can't remember it ever. But I will say this, it's a great problem for college basketball to have, is that we have so many high-level quality teams, both the ones that we mentioned, Arizona, Michigan. How about Duke and their ability to go beat Michigan State today? They're off to an unbelievable start with a couple of huge resume-building wins. So I think the game overall, really good positioning right now as far as enjoyable, high-level, good quality basketball and elite-level teams.
It's a 15-0 run right now by Arizona. Blowing this one open here late in the first half.
Auburn's missed their last 10 shots, Dave, and all of them have been contested.
Do they have an answer? They need it, they get it. A 3 from Pettiford.
First uncontested look they've had. Arizona's defense has been stifling in the first half. It's easy to fall in love with their transition game and their ability to score in the paint, but the difference this year has been their efficiency at the defensive end.
Bradley to answer, does, swishing home a 3-ball. They are shooting 65% from the floor right now.
And it's the ball movement. 10 assists on the 18 made field goals. Or 11 assists now on 19 made field goals. They move that basketball, Dave, and they trust that if you give it up, you can get it back.
The execution, the teamwork on both ends of the floor, very apparent. Now, some teams, when they have this many newcomers, it takes a while before they look like they're in sync. That's not the case with Arizona. A lot of communication on defense, just kind of watching each possession. 3 off target from Burries. Offensive rebound, Kribos. Karchenkov tried to spin it home. Kribos tips it in. Lead is 20 now for Arizona.
You talk about the new parts. How does it gel? A lot of that you give credit to the coaching staff, right? But you need that guy to bring it all together, and Jaden Bradley is that at the point guard position. His understanding of what Tommy Lloyd wants to do, it is clear.
Pettiford with the runner, gets it to bank home. Well, back when good seniors were actually still around in college basketball, you would see that really show up in that leadership in the NCAA tournament. And that could be a big factor for Arizona to get to a Final Four this year, having that veteran guard who's played in big-time games. Kribos had it blocked. That was Hall with the swap. Now Hall on the other end. Overton's 3 no good. And Hall gets hacked by Bradley. On the floor, they had a couple to give. 5th team foul. Well, coming up, it's the 24th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic Wednesday night, 7 Eastern, the Hawkeye State rivalry, Iowa State and Iowa, both ranked in the top 12.
Both undefeated right now. Audie Cooks has been unbelievable. She had 47 against Indiana, shooting 73% from the field on the season. That's going to be the problem that the Hawkeyes are going to have to try to figure out for the Cyclones.
Approaching a minute to go here in the first half. Pass. Look by Murphy underneath, and the slam from Elijah Freeman.
Great awareness by Murphy. The defense left the passer, and as he stepped in, he was wide open. Freeman able to finish.
If you're Auburn, can you cut it to 12, maybe 10 at halftime to stay within striking distance? High post. Peat with the high-low. Awaka couldn't handle the pass. That is turnover number 7 by Arizona. Auburn has 7 as well.
I think to your point of what you're trying to say is for Auburn here in the final 54 seconds, you got 2 possessions likely here in the final 54 seconds. Can you score on both of them, get a little bit of momentum, and feel better about where you're at going to the break, and now have experienced going through those runs? If you look historically, they were down 8 multiple times to Houston. They came back and tied that game before they eventually ended up losing it. But the fight has been shown by this Tigers team already this season.
And in particular by Pettiford here tonight. He's got more than half of Auburn's total. He's got 16 points now. Bradley has it knocked away from behind by Pettiford. It will stay, though, with Arizona. 14 to shoot, 25 on the game clock. Tommy Lloyd will take a timeout and drop a play. 6-0 Auburn run over the last 90 seconds. Arizona 7-0, and this is a big reason why they've climbed all the way to number 2. They've beaten 2 teams ranked number 3 at one point, Florida and UConn. Also knocked off UCLA.
The next game, how about their next game? I mean, you beat Florida, Auburn, and potentially Alabama. And that game against Alabama is down in Birmingham.
That's a week from tonight, and a steal by Overton. And he missed the layup. The tip, though, is good by Murphy, and it's 8 straight points now for Auburn.
And that's the momentum swing that you were alluding to, and that Stephen Pearl desperately needed for his Auburn Tigers team to head to the break.
5 seconds to go in the half. Bradley around the Awaka screen with 2, and puts up an air ball. Good close to the half by Auburn after Arizona opened up a 20-point lead. 8 straight Tiger points over the last minute and 40 seconds. Coming up, it's the Chief Halftime Report. They'll break down this game, plus a look at what happened to Purdue against Iowa State earlier today. Will the Wildcats be number 1 next week? All that and more coming up. Bounds off Arizona. Tommy Lloyd's team trying to go to 8-0. Will next play against another team from Alabama, the Crimson Tide, down in Birmingham on December 13th.
Just put it into perspective, you go back to that game against North Carolina State last time out for this Auburn team. They shot 59% from the field, 55% from 3. Those numbers aren't close to what they did here in the first half.
Overton short on a triple try. Just 2 points in the first half for Overton, who had a career best 29 last time out against NC State. Burries gets bumped. First foul on either team here in the second half. It's on Hall, his second personal. Auburn's got 2 losses this year, by 1 against Houston and by 30 against Michigan, which beat Rutgers today by 41. Wolverines likely will get some first place votes.
Dusty May's got his team a well-oiled machine right now. I mean, they have just been destroying everyone.
Burries misses, and so 1 and done for Arizona again. Foul called before the blocks. First on Arizona here in the half. Burries picking up his second personal.
Auburn went to the break on that 8-0 run and kind of had some momentum, and they've got to be able to come out here to start this second half and carry that over and play with the energy that it's going to be required at both ends of the floor. For them to win this game, it starts at the defensive end.
Hall can't get it to roll home. Krivas with the clear.
And there's the bully ball that I showed you that Hall did that picked up the foul in the video of Art of drawing a foul. He's not getting those fouls tonight.
Karchenkov powers that one up and in. First basket in more than 3 minutes going back to the end of the first half. When Arizona watched that 20-point lead go down quickly to 12, but now back to 14 early here in the second half. Hall trying to attack the chest of the defender, throws to the corner. The three is way off from Freeman. Auburn 3 for 13 from three-point range. But Arizona had just one free throw attempt, none made in the first half. Yet their lead is 16 with Krivas scoring inside.
You mentioned up the top of this game, 50% of Auburn's points have come from the three-point line and the free throw line. They had only 12 points out of the 32 in the first half came from those two areas.
Conversely, Arizona's not a team that makes a lot of threes, doesn't take a lot of threes, and they're 4 for 8 so far in this game, as Bradley is mauled by Pettiford, or rather by Overton, his first.
Just an excellent job by Arizona. Again, patience, poise, reading and taking what the defense gives you. Good strong move by Krivas underneath.
Seems greatly improved from a year ago. And obviously battled injury for most of last season, played just 8 games.
And I give a lot of credit to the guy at the free throw line right now. He just steps up and shows up in the games that matter against ranked opponents this year. 3 previous opponents that were ranked, averaging 21 points per game, shooting 57% from the field with more than 3.5 assists per game. That's what you need in games against the best competition. Who shows up? And when your guard, and college basketball is still a game about guards. When your guard shows up and shows out, good things usually happen for everybody else.
Senior guards, and it's not just that he's a senior. There are plenty of guys that are seniors that played somewhere else for 3 years. Now, he did start out at Alabama, but this is his 3rd year in the program. What a pass by Bradley. Basket from Burries, and a foul.
When you have a guard that is so unselfish and has no personal agenda except for wanting to win and make everybody better, you cut and move to open space. And an excellent job working that end line by Burries, able to finish.
Second foul on Overton. And a chance to push the lead to 21 with Arizona's second. 2 for 3 so far at the line. Bradley with the free throws on the last trip, the first of the half and the first of the game for Arizona in terms of made free throws.
And good for Burries because he has struggled against ranked opponents, and for him to come out this evening and play as well as he has, he's up to 9 points in the efficiency. There's growth for that freshman.
Foul called underneath. It's going to be on Burries. That's 3 on him. So Burries will take a seat. Delorso will check in, but 44 points the last 2.5 games for the freshman Braden Burries, 20 years of age, out of San Bernardino. McDonald's All-America. Overton knocks down the foul shot.
This is a great opportunity for a shooter like Overton to get to the free throw line and watch the ball go off his fingertips and maybe try to carry some of that momentum over to his productivity from the field. He's just 1 of 6 shooting, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc tonight. Sometimes all a scorer needs to do is see it. Just go through the hoop. Get that touch in that field. Auburn could use it. 1-3-1 zone.
And they're going to need made baskets in a flurry. And they're going to need a bunch of stops to try to get back into this game again. And they give up a dunk here underneath this. Koa Peat got position and an excellent find.
Now, if 2 run to the ball, that means you've got a mismatch somewhere where 1 is guarding 2. Unfortunately for Auburn, where they gave that basket up was right at the rim.
5 assists now for Karchenkov. Bradley down court to Peat. What a pass by Bradley. A great catch in transition. It's a 23-point lead, just like that. 4 on 5 for Arizona. Krivas got tangled up on the left baseline, but is back in your picture. Going to the cheerleaders, but appears to be okay. Karchenkov, good on a 3. It was a 12-point lead 2 minutes ago. And now up to 26.
Number 1 falls earlier in the day. The question is, whose resume looks it? I can tell you with my own eyes, Arizona. By the way, he's made his last 12 that he's attempted, which breaks the school record by Kyle Guy. Virginia beats Texas this week. They beat Dayton. They've got Maryland coming up. UVA looks like a tournament team in Ryan Odom's first season. The ACC better than where it was a year ago. It's trending in the right direction.
Feel like last year was an anomaly because 2 years ago the league was pretty good.
Was pretty good, and I think that what happens is you go through such a steep transition, Dave, of so many coaches that were legends on the sideline retiring in a short window. Boeheim, Kay, Tony Bennett, Roy Williams, Leonard Hamilton, Jim Larinaga. The list goes on and on. The hires have to be right, and they've got them right. And Ryan Odom's been one of those. Obviously, Pat Kelsey and what he's done at Louisville, they got a nice win today as well. Flipped Louisville right away. Virginia seems like it's trending in the right direction. NC State's got to get back there. Will Wade's team struggling to defend.
Another great play by Jaden Bradley, this time scoring the ball. And a couple of gorgeous assists this half. He's up to 16 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and it's a 28-point lead.
Tommy Lloyd sleeps well every night because of number 0. I mean, do you know what it's like to have a point guard that just can do what he does leadership-wise? It's not just the production. The numbers, those are great numbers that you just gave out. But Tommy Lloyd really doesn't have to worry about the communication out on the floor. And Jaden Bradley is a complete extension of him. And because of that, what you see is the efficiency and no missed assignments defensively. They're talking early, loud, and often. It's impressive. So is that steal.
So Williams-Adams able to keep it alive, and then Bradley commits a foul. It's 2 on Jaden Bradley. But it really is a great mix of veteran players and freshmen who have championship experience. Koa Peat, a 4-time state champion at Perry High School up north in the Phoenix area. And just being around today at shoot around and talking with a number of the coaches, there's great chemistry. You can see it, and I'm sure there'll be adversity at some point. Every team goes through it over the course of a 35-40 game season. As Hall gets that one to drop, he had been 2 for 9 from the floor. But because of the leadership of Jaden Bradley and the experience of a lot of the young players playing in big games prior to their arrival at Arizona, they're set to be able to deal with whatever adversity comes their way during the course of the regular year.
And they have time because their schedule in conference play doesn't get silly until February. At Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, at Houston, at Baylor, Kansas, and Iowa State all in a row.
Hediford off the bounce, gets the jumper.
So a little bit lighter in the front half of the Big 12 schedule. And then it just kicks into overdrive when they get to the month of February. But to your point, they're still relying on freshmen. And freshmen, as productive as they are, there's going to be nights where they struggle a little bit. He may not. But the others might.
Yeah, there is a level of consistency with Koa Peat that you don't normally see from freshmen. Just the 4th made three in 16 tries for Auburn. Pettiford up to 21 points now on the night, more than half of Auburn's total. But a 25-point deficit on the road.
Cam Boozer is the most polished freshman in the country. Koa Peat might be second.
Yeah, and watching Koa Peat again, the pace at which he plays, you see the same thing with Boozer.
And the uniqueness of the skill set, right? The ability to pass, and that's going to be a 4-point play opportunity for Pettiford. There's a mistake by the freshman. Close out here, leave your feet, and anytime your momentum is carrying you into the shooter, you tend to foul, and that's a little bit just of an understanding, like, are you going to block that shot there? If you're not going to block that shot, you're better off just jumping straight up, straight down. You're going into the shooter, the officials are going to be on it, and if that shooter falls, they're giving it to him.
And the look on his face was one of, yep, big mistake by me. He knew it right away. Pettiford completes the 4-point play, 25 points now. Peat has 12 points for Arizona. Bradley getting a breather right now for the Wildcats. Aristode. Foul called on Pettiford. Well, tomorrow we'll have the exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff top 25 rankings in a 3-hour special with Reese Davis and company starting at noon Eastern time. Now, we have not been told the final, but at last check, Indiana was up 3 with like 5 seconds left over Ohio State.
And Duke is beating Virginia.
So
chaos.
Yeah, because if that continues, Duke will not be in the college football playoff. It would seem that James Madison would be the second group of 5 team. And then it comes down to, does Miami represent the ACC, or are they left out completely? Now Alabama gets in, or Notre Dame gets in.
Does Alabama's loss today in the way that they lost, -3 yards of rushing on the game against Georgia, how much does that impact the committee?
It has
You're
to.
the football guy.
Well, the way they lost has to matter. They are very banged up, but that has to matter as well. You don't know of the guys that are injured if they would be back, and the committee's supposed to look at a team even if they're without coaches or players and try to project how they might do with data points. They have a data point, how they look today without Jam Miller and some others, and it wasn't good.
Well, the answer will come tomorrow in a 3-hour special on ESPN.
Jovic in the lane, stumbles, gets it out though to Overton, and he was fouled by Awaka. So 17 foul, so Auburn's going to be shooting the rest of the half. That's about the only way the Tigers can get back in this game.
It is, and they have to have that awareness, and how they can do that is by continuing to try to drive and attack and get in the bodies. Like Keyshawn Hall hasn't gotten to the free throw line once. He averages 9 attempts per game. Now it's time for Keyshawn, when he gets back in the game, to sit there and say, hey, I got to get into the body of the people that are defending me and see if you can stop the clock and manufacture points, because you're not sustaining stops at the defensive end right now. Like, if you're going to come back and win this game, if Auburn's going to make even a push in this game, they have to start making Arizona feel uncomfortable at the offensive end, and they've not been able to do that. The Cats are shooting 65% from the field.
And 6 of 10 from 3. Aristode with a spin and gets it to fall. The strength of Dwayne Aristode, the 19-year-old freshman, on full display that time, finishing through contact.
It's just tough, physical. This is your first look at the freshman from Arizona. There's a lot to smile about. There's a lot to enjoy if you're a Cats fan. Not to mention that in those closer-type moments this season, he has been the guy that Arizona has looked to in tight ball games to close out their opponents. He gets a little bit of a break right now from Tommy Lloyd's team, but boy, he has been so instrumental in their success, not only tonight, but so far this season.
You mentioned his overall efficiency. 6 of 8 on the night. We showed you that. Better than 60% from the floor this year. And from 3-point range, he is now 7 of 11 on the year. So he only takes about 1 3 per game, doesn't force it. He's only got 1 turnover and 4 assists so far in this game as well. Chance to get extended rest with his team up big.
Well, tough to come back in a game on the road, in particular when your opponent's shooting 85% from the field in the second half. And that is what Arizona is doing right now. And a lot of it is coming in the paint. They're up to 42 points in the paint. They came in averaging over 46, but 42 with 12 minutes left to go. They could end up with 60 points in the paint in this game right now, what they're doing.
So you've seen everybody this year in college basketball play in person or on television. Is Arizona the best team? Because it looks like they're going to be #1 when the polls are released early next week.
I think every coach and everybody will tell you it doesn't matter at this point. But what I will tell you is this. There are 3 teams that I would put in that category. And in moments, they've all looked the part of being a #1 ranked team, whether it's this Arizona team, Michigan, or Duke. I think when the poll comes out, Arizona will be #1. This will be their 4th top 25 win. A win at UConn, a neutral site win against Florida, a neutral site win against UCLA. Tommy Lloyd has done a really good job of scheduling and building their resume out. So I do think they will be #1. But I mean, if you told me, if watching Michigan, the way that they've absolutely dismantled teams, Auburn, Gonzaga, Rutgers, like it seemingly hasn't mattered who's lined up against Dusty May's group. They're just destroying him right now.
You know, Michigan beat this Auburn team by 30. Tommy Lloyd's team is up 25. One thing that Tommy Lloyd will not be happy with, the continued fouls committed by his defense, with a game basically in hand at this point, giving Auburn an opportunity to get points while the clock is stopped.
Well, part of that, right, is there's the challenge to be a little bit more physical and have a little bit more grit. Sometimes players here, you've got to have a little bit more grit, and they immediately end up playing with their hands and fouling.
Burris takes it all the way down the court after splitting the double team back at his own free throw line. Williams-Adams on the spot up 3. Controlled by Awaka.
Relentless pursuit of the basketball. 3 white jerseys going after that defensive rebound.
Tobe Awaka and Del Orso both really embracing their new roles coming off the bench this year after starting most of last season.
Watch this pretty good trap, and you're thinking, all right, maybe there's a turnover. But the freshman splits it, and as soon as he splits it, immediately races up the floor. A good pin and steal by Awaka creates the ability for Burris to be able to finish.
By the way, we're being told the largest margin of victory in the Tommy Lloyd era against a top 25 team. I think you and I were here for that. It was against Wisconsin back in December of 2023. A 25-point victory, and it's 26 right now with a half to go. Powering that one up to glass it in is Williams-Adams.
This will be a test of discipline for Auburn right now. With the deficit that they have, can they lock in defensively in the final 10 minutes?
Freeman with the steal. Missed it both times. Peat may have fouled him the second time. Looked like there was contact to the arm of Freeman, but no whistle. Shot clock down to 7 for Peat. A high-low feed to Awaka. Great D by Pettiford.
Excellent job. Auburn's guards do a great job swooping in on bigs when they bring the ball down low. Tommy Lloyd talked to his team about it at shoot-around.
Wild shot by Overton. No passes on that possession. Here's Peat. Tries to muscle that one up on the rim, and he was fouled on the floor. Williams Adams is third. Well, tomorrow, 1 Eastern time, ESPN2, Missouri and Kansas in the annual Border Showdown. Then over on ESPN at 5 Eastern time, it'll be number 16 North Carolina taking on Georgetown.
KJ Lewis, former Arizona Wildcat, playing for the Hoyas, averaging 17 points and 6 rebounds per game. We talk about a lot of great freshmen. Caleb Wilson might have the best motor out of any freshman in the country. I mean, how he's performed so far for Hubert Davis and North Carolina, averaging 19 points and 10 rebounds per game. This is as deep as a freshman class that we've had in college basketball in at least the last 2 decades.
Well, I heard you saying earlier today you thought this could end up being the best draft since 2003.
Yeah. I just think that it's not just the top, right? And guys like A.J. DeBonsa and Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer and Nate Ahmed. But it's the depth as you start to move down that list. You're like, man, how far are we going to go with talented freshmen and players in the game right now that can be rotational players at that next level?
So what you're saying is no matter where Oklahoma City picks, they're going to get another great player to just go to an already stacked roster.
Unless they trade him to get Giannis. Can you imagine if they got Giannis? They have the draft capital to do it.
Pull-up jumper from Bradley is short. Rebound Pettiford, 78-52. Arizona in front, led by 12 at halftime, led by 20 with about 2 minutes to go in the first half. Auburn made a run to get back within striking distance, but then Arizona just blitzed the Tigers early this half, and they have not let up. Foul inside on Krivas, battling with Williams Adams. More free throws for Auburn.
To tie a bow on it, there's guys like Hannes Steinbach from Washington that a lot of people probably haven't paid attention to so far this season for Danny Sprinkle's team. He's going to be a first-round pick. He is so incredibly skilled in how he plays. Guys like Kingston Flemings, who as a freshman is playing such a huge part of what Kelvin Sampson is requiring. And you know, if you get a guy from Houston, they're defensive, they're tough, they can be coached hard. Kingston Flemings is checking a lot of boxes early. And those matchups, again, in Houston and Arizona, you got A.J. DeBonsa, BYU against us. They're going to be high level games when those teams are matched up in February.
This looked early on like it was going to be a high-level game. Auburn was up 5, had 15 points in the first 5 minutes as Burries hits the slam. And another great pass that time.
Well, so much of their offense is predicated upon basketball IQ, movement without the ball, reading, seeing space, and getting there.
And a timeout called. I think a clock issue the officials are going to look at. We will step away. Well, I know we're in early December, but how important is it to be undefeated
through the end of November? Here's a complete list of the number of teams. Your national champion is likely in that number. And if you want to expand it out even more, 8 out of the last 10 national champions have met that criteria.
How many teams, though, are undefeated and not ranked at the end of November?
Well, there's a lot, actually. Quite a few. I was going through
power conferences.
There's probably like 5 or 6. So, and those would be the current teams that met that criteria at the end of November. Now, obviously, we've had some losses, like USC took a loss today to the University of Washington. But Purdue finding a loss today. But yet undefeated still would meet that marker. And if you look at the teams that have played the most consistent so far this season, they're all right there. And there's something to be said about the preseason college basketball and finding early success and equating that to the national championship at the end of the year.
So you feel like the voters have done a pretty good job ranking teams.
Historically, actually, they do a very good job in the preseason. And you look at the top 15 in the preseason poll, and usually the national champion is in that mix. I don't think this year is that different. And I think we're going to see a lot of competitive games. We've seen that throughout the course of the season so far. I mean, the other night, the first SEC, ACC challenge, as well as that UConn-Kansas game, that Duke, Florida, North Carolina, those are high-level games.
So So with Purdue losing, Arizona almost certainly will be #1 next week, given that it's blowing out a team.
And how much does Iowa State jump up? After that win against Purdue in the manner and the building that it was in. I mean, that was a true road game.
Do they jump to 4? Go past all the one-loss teams with the exception of maybe
I don't think they
Purdue?
get. I would say probably they settle more around like 6, I think is realistic. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, TJ Otzelberger and the job that he's done. Look, the Big 12 last year, like everybody talked about the SEC, and the SEC was historic, right? They won 70% of their games against other power conference opponents. This year, those numbers aren't the same for the SEC, and the Big 12 is maintaining where it has been, and they're in line right now to have the best non-conference against other power conferences in the country for the 5th time in the last 6 years.
Meanwhile, free food for folks that have attended the game here at McHale Center based on the consecutive missed free throws there for Williams-Adams. That's why
I'm a little hungry.
Everybody was so excited here. They've had a lot to cheer about tonight, but that was as loud as they've been all night. But Auburn kept possession. So smart. It up though on the inbound.
So smart by Peat to release where he was defending to be able to get that tip away.
Jovic with the block, ends up the hands of Bradley, spinning in the lane, off the front rim. Auburn ball. It's 81-53 Arizona with 7 minutes to go. Missed 3-pointer by Freeman, and another Arizona foul.
And this will be the first free throws for Keyshawn Hall. Finally getting to the free throw line.
Auburn's taken 13 free throws already this half, and 2 more coming up here.
The free throws have been their most successful aspect of their game. I mean, they've just been struggling from every aspect in their half-court set. And Keyshawn Hall, the transfer from UCF, I asked Stephen Pearl if the numbers he's shown so far this season at almost 22 points per game and 9 rebounds per contest, has it surprised you? And he said no, because we knew when we got him with the level of success that he had at UCF a season ago against the defenses inside the Big 12, that it would translate seamlessly to what they've had in Auburn. And he's got 4 double-doubles already on the season. Tonight, not one of his better nights.
Lorsto with a jab step and drive, now pulls up and hits.
There's just the one thing about Arizona's players. How controlled are they? They very rarely get sped up. They just get to their spot. They stay on balance. If they have their shot, they'll take it. If not, they're going to give it up.
Well, one thing Del Orso did in the offseason, as another Arizona foul is called, is Del Orso, who was a great 3-point shooter last year, wanted to get stronger. So talking with Chris Rounds, and if we were playing Walton Bingo, people at home would be winning right now because he was always there, always had his own square. He said that Del Orso gained 25 pounds of muscle. Now he's given about 5 pounds back because the season's underway, but he's become a lot stronger. And you wonder if that's helped his confidence to go in the lane and to be more under control.
Well, it also helps him at the defensive end of the floor. I think that's where you see it probably the most, is at times he would get bounced off as a defensive player on ball against bigger guards. And now he's been able to maintain his position better. And subsequently, when you start to see that and you can hold your position better defensively, you know it translates to the other end of the floor. And that's what I think instills that confidence.
You know, last year was a starter. This year asked to play a different role. Transfer from Campbell.
He had a great career at Campbell. I mean, he's Big South Conference Freshman of the Year. And to be one of the points you brought up earlier, it's not just, you know, going from a starter to coming off the bench, but it's accepting that role. It's embracing that role. And I think that the best teams in the country, and you see this, is they understand how to star in their role. Right? Like, not everybody can be a star, but you can be a star in the role that's being asked of you. Toby Awaka, rebound the ball at a very high clip. Star in that role. And if he does, you gain extra possessions like they are right now.
And if you don't, it can ruin an entire team.
Yep.
You can really disrupt everybody on the roster if one guy is unhappy and isn't a good soldier about his role. And a foul here on Arizona.
Needs more free throws
on the other end. If you're Tommy Lloyd, you're up big. You're probably going to win big, but I'm assuming he's going to be hanging his hat in practice this week on not fouling and handling your business a little bit better on the defensive end, in particular when it comes to not giving the opponent opportunities to get easy points with a clock stop.
Well, because the free throw line probably not going to hurt you that much at the end of the game here. But there may be games down the road, whether it's the Alabama game coming up on the 13th, whether it's their conference games coming up down the road, where if you allow your opponent to get back in the game, you provide energy for them and allow them to build momentum. I mean, Keyshawn Hall has gone to the free throw line. He went from 0 to 6 real quick in free throw attempts.
Bradley doubled. Maywood reaching in. Wow. Like they're saying a held ball initially, but now they're giving the ball to Auburn.
Great job reading on the screen, and Jaden Bradley had no awareness that the double team was coming. He was reading Freeman. This is going to be an outlet pass for Peat.
In the slam. "16 points for Peat. 7 of 10 shooting. Also has 5 assists and 4 rebounds. All into the lane, off the foot of Murphy, I thought, but they're going to say it was off of Arizona.
You never want to throw a negative pass towards your opponent's basket that is long, because it's going to lead to a run out, and more often than not. And I think Tommy Lloyd is going to challenge this, and it would be a smart challenge.
Yeah, it looked like it was off of Murphy's foot.
Thought that was pretty clear.
But ruled off.
In an attempt to enhance the overall flow of the game, and it was adjudicated properly and given the ball back to Arizona. The biggest key in getting the challenge is, I think, having a really good staff behind the bench like you see in the NBA that can quickly review the video play and determine whether or not you should or should not challenge it. And some staffs are struggling with the new technology that's being used. Tommy's staff was pretty quick right there. They knew they had it, and it's pretty clear off the bounce. It goes right off of Murphy's own foot out of bounds, and that's why the call was reviewed. But I think a lot of these teams in college, they need to practice it more, because sometimes there's been, you know, an official holding up waiting to see if they're, like it's Major League Baseball, and they're waiting to understand if they're going to challenge the player or not.
And if you get your challenge correct, you get a second challenge to be used later in the game.
And you keep your timeout. But if you get it wrong, you lose your timeout.
And there will be an assistant coach usually in charge, or somebody on the staff in charge of looking at the tablet if the three-pointer is good. By Pettiford, who's got 28 points.
And he's had himself a game. I mean, he has showed up here in the McHale Center.
Underneath to Peat, another basket inside. He's got 18 and 8 of 11 shooting.
He got 50 points in the paint in this game. 50. And they just keep sharing the basketball. 21 assists on 36 made field goals for Arizona.
They're 6 of 14 from 3. That is about right at their average. They're a good three-point shooting team. They just don't take a lot. Magwood able to hit as he hit the deck.
Well, and you look at this and say, well, Auburn did a great job, though. They got 15 offensive rebounds. The problem is Arizona's shooting 61% from the field. There's not a lot of offensive rebounds for them to have.
Yep. Just 9 made free throws for Arizona. All those coming in the second half. Kawaka jab, step, and fire. Offensive rebound and put back by Karchenkov. He's going to be an interesting player to watch once conference play begins. Feels like he's getting better and better. Now, the last game Arizona played, he got hurt and rolled his ankle, played only 9 minutes, but you could see him start to catch on with what Arizona wants from him before that injury.
And won the 2025 Bundesliga championship.
For cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. If you're able, give now at v.org/donate. 100% of donations go directly to cancer research.
Important to note the wins, right? And often we talk about cancer, we talk about the losses, and those are real. But the high water mark of mortality for cancer was in 1991. Since that point in time, it's dropped 34%. Right now, if people just got screened when they're supposed to, we could drop it another 20% with the technology that's already available. So getting screened and early detection is such a key part in the fight against cancer. So I encourage anybody that thinks you might have some hesitancy in the fight against cancer, go talk to your doctor, get the screening done that you need to. It'll save your life.
Well, the V Foundation over the last 3 decades has done an amazing job in raising awareness. Waka with a basket inside, and Arizona up 25 again. Wildcats will go to 8-0. And the likely new number 1 with Purdue getting blown out by Iowa State today. Tip in by Burries. The last time Arizona topped the rankings was back in December of 2023, so just a couple years ago.
This has been impressive. And they had a couple of good runs in the first half, and Auburn kind of answered them. Took some momentum going to the break, and this Arizona team came out in the second half and has dropped the hammer on the Tigers.
This will be the 4th win against a ranked team for Arizona. Florida, Connecticut, UCLA, and now Auburn. And then we'll play Alabama a week from tonight in Birmingham. They're going to call a foul on a Waka here inside. Sports Center is coming up next here with Trevor Scales and Ryan Smith. With all the chaos.
Is it truly chaos now?
Well, yeah, Duke winning, so that could affect Alabama. You wonder how their loss in the SEC title game will impact what happens to them. But also with James Madison likely in now, what does that do to Alabama? And Indiana being number 1, where's Ohio State ranked? And we already touched on Purdue and it getting torched today by Iowa State.
I'm here for the chaos.
What a story, Indiana football. Kurt Cignetti in 2 years. After getting to the playoff last year, to do it again this year and be the likely number 1 overall seed.
Mendoza, the Heisman
championship win. I'd say yes. I don't have a vote.
I mean,
but I would say yes.
It's just an amazing story for him, too, transferring from Cal to Indiana. I think it's the first Big Ten title since 1967.
Minute to go here. A steal by Murphy. Stephen Pearl keeping his starters on the floor, or most of them anyway. Under a minute to go in this one, and Arizona doing the same. But the walk-ons coming at the next dead ball. Right, followed by Burries. Boy, Burries' last 3 games.
Really good.
Yep, he's got 51 points during that stretch.
Trending in the right direction for the freshman. You mentioned Indiana likely to be number 1. You're looking at what's likely going to be the number 1 basketball team in the country when the poll comes out on Monday.
And obviously Arizona will take that, but they would love to be in the conversation at the end of the year. To do that, you got to get to a Final Four. 2001, the last time. 1997, the last championship for Arizona. But just watching here tonight and how they've dismantled a good Auburn team, they have what it takes.
Well, and the offense is so impressive, right? 95 points, 60% shooting, fall in love with all of that. They're holding this Auburn team to 37% shooting and 24% from 3. This was an Auburn team that came in shooting 49% overall and 35% from beyond the arc.
C.D. Gay getting some work here. Nice jump hook with the left hand by the freshman from Senegal.
Playing for Real Madrid in Spain.
Dunk on the other end by Keyshawn Murphy. But that's it. Arizona goes to 8-0 and the likely new #1 in college basketball.
Big time win by a team that has a very much so business-like approach to how they've played game in and game out.